Hey, it's Dr.Matey in Erie, PA. How you doing today? I've been sick as hell for the last 2 weeks, man. The sinuses and feeling lousy, no energy. Just plodding along every day. I'm a mattress back. I can't help it. I have no energy. It's part of this pulmonary fibrosis I have. It sucks, man. Hard to breathe sometimes and scary too. A couple of times I wasn't able to catch my breath for like 30 seconds. But it's a terminal disease. I got like 3 years to live. I'd be happy if I'm live till I'm 70. So that's the way it goes. That's roll the dice. Anyway, they got Biden scheduled to speak. They're doing the State of the Union on March 7th, and this guy is falling apart. It's going to be very interesting to see what they have him shot up with, some kind of military speed or something, to make his cognitive abilities a little sharper. But the guy's a walking zombie. He's a corpse. And everybody I know is voting for Trump. Trump has great experience. He's a great businessman. What the Letitia James in New York and that weirdo looking judge Erdogan or Endergron or whatever his name is, they really shafted it to Trumpy. But I tell you what, he'll be vindicated and those rulings will be overturned. They did it for political reasons. I imagine there's a bagman who dropped off a bunch of cash to those two to ensure that they got the conviction. That judge, he had him convicted. He had Trumpy convicted even before the first day of court. And they didn't give him a jury trial. Charged him in the wrong venue. Tried him in the wrong venue. And I want to see these Democrats go down hard. They'll be exposed. It's just a matter of time. They're all gloating. They were the celebration of New York, New York, in the Democratic circles over the weekend. But there's going to be hell to pay for those two. That's all I can think of. Now, I tell you, they got a real problem with these black women in power. The one woman who's the mayor of this city outside of Chicago, this chick is a piece of work. And they got the feds in on her investigating and, frivolously spending taxpayer money, federal funds, the whole bit. She's gone after people who didn't donate to her and is withholding the renewal of their business licenses. I mean, and this chick is so, oh, I don't know what you say, so full of it, number one, but she's just a real smarmy, young chick. I think she's God's gift to that city, a little tiny borough, whatever it is. And then we moved down to Fulton County, Georgia, with Fannie Willis. There's going to be an ethics hearing here coming up. I didn't catch a date exactly. I don't recall it, but the it's open to the public. Anybody who wants to speak can do so. And I hope Trump shows up down there and blasts her good. As that woman is so shafty. She's a con woman. And, but she goes to black church to make a speech about how she's been saved by Jesus. And Jesus, if you believe in Jesus, he'll take care of everything. He'll throw his shield of protection around you so nobody can touch you. It's such an abuse of, using religion to escape responsibility. I'm sorry. But she's a real piece of work, this chick and her boyfriend. God. Oh, boy. But, these black women in power. And then we have Judge Tuckin in Washington, D.C. Trump's going to go to bat in front of her. And she's some kind of mystery meat. I forget where she is from, Jamaica or something like that. Her father was a communist leader down in her home country. But she's an American. And, they have the long knives out for Trump, too. But, this whole abuse of the justice system and the corruption that's involved with these people is just beyond the pale. I really think when Trump is vindicated that these people are going to pay a heavy price. I don't know in what form or shape it's going to be in, but the the writing's on the wall for these people. They're all a bunch of political hacks, partisans, Democrat partisans, and they hate Trump so badly. But I tell you, the Americans I know are loving Trump right now because Biden administration has screwed up this country so badly that we got to get those people out of there. That's all there is to it. That's the only choice we have is bring Trump back and get this country back on its feet. Crime's rampant in the cities. They're bringing in 18 million foreign invaders over the southern border. That idiot Mayorkas and Biden, okayed it. They think it's so fun, having all these people from all over the world coming to America through the Mexican border. Oh, Joe Biden, he's the greatest president since George Washington. Isn't that right? Not really, but the other thing that bothers me is they're shipping all these people off to these blue Democrat cities, Chicago, New York. But the federal government's giving them no money to help take care of these people. It's all coming out of the local taxpayers' pocket. And these people don't have anything. The minorities in those communities, they are fighting over the scraps. Meanwhile, the migrants are sitting in hotels, getting 3 catered meals a day, getting a $10,000 a month debit card, for their cash needs and purchases. So I mean, they're really taking care of these people, but they forget about Americans. Now, this whole thing about back in Ukraine and it's a fight for democracy. I saw a video today. I was taking quite a while ago of Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, playing with a little boy. And he looked like he was very interested in the little boy, touchy feely. It's kind of sick, actually. But this guy is a power mad corruptocrat, and he wants to be one of these wealthy individuals. He's already stolen so much money. U.S. taxpayer money, by the way. He's got homes in 3 different countries, Spain and America and, I don't know, France or something. But he'll just go on the lam and live out his life with his billions or whatever he has, whatever he's stolen. And, it's really sad. Ukraine has had a huge population shift. 20 million people left the country. It was about 48 million. Now it's like less than 28 million. They've had over 500,000 killed in the war with Russia. And they had many more who are disabled and will never return to military service. It's terrible. And, the Russians, all Vlad wanted to do was keep NATO out of his backyard and claim the country and the part of Ukraine that's Russian speaking. It's too bad they couldn't hammer this out peacefully. But, Joe Biden, he wanted a war with Russia and Putin, pay him back for being an evil man. But it's really freaking sad that they didn't work this out peacefully. All this could have been avoided. They're all talking war. Oh, they get us striking back. Now they're talking nukes openly. I never heard that kind of talk before. Now they're going to want to nuke each other, the Russians and the Americans and the British. These people are so, it really ticks me off, to say the least. The other sad thing is, they've conscripted all these 40, 50, and 60-year-olds, and the women, too, they've conscripted them, give them military uniforms and a rifle and say, go kill some Russians. We got to protect our country. Now, Biden wants to send $60 billion over, and he excuses it by saying all that money will be spent here in America making arms. The U.S. weapons stockpile is depleted because of all the arms that were sent over to Ukraine. And we're left defenseless. I'd like to see us get invaded, though, because we have all the good old boys down south and out west and up in the northern states with their hunting rifles and automatic weapons, semi-automatic weapons, and And we would give help to any invader that come across into this country because, I mean, they wouldn't stand a chance here against these Americans. They're so stupid if they think they can do that. But how about this? The Russians have a satellite in space. It's a satellite killer, and it can also drop nuclear bombs on unsuspecting cities. You know, you're watching the ball game at home. Boom! Next thing, the Russians blasted your city away with a nuclear bomb. So now they're talking about the U.S. Space Force deploying space weapons to do basically essentially the same thing. But, you know, they're all talking crap. You know, it's all about getting money for the defense industry. Meanwhile, the Congress critters and the administration and all these high-end bureaucrats are all taking their money and throwing it into the stocks that they get tips on. And they make a fortune. You know, this Joe Biden impeachment thing, you know, his brother Jim testified yesterday. You know, it was all lies. Now, the real interesting hearing they're going to have is when Hunter Biden testifies in front of the Congressional Committee, the Oversight Committee, and the people looking to impeach Biden on February 28th. And that's going to be a real tell. I hope they keep him there all day and just grill him. He's going to have his army of high-powered lawyers in with him and telling him what to answer and what not to answer. But he's the key to this whole Biden corruption deal. So we'll see what happens. But I want Biden out as soon as possible. He's a fossil. He's a walking corpse. And he hates America. He wouldn't do this to America or his fellow Americans if he was a real patriot. This guy's a traitor to America, in my opinion. And he's the worst president America has ever had. Think about that. I think you'll agree when you really see the big picture. The guy's a loser. And he's a liar. And he's a big braggart. And, you know, he's got a big ego on him the size of Texas. And that ego will not let him step down. I mean, it'll be like Weekend at Bernie's. They'll be carrying around his corpse. This is President Corpse. He's our great president. He's the greatest president since George Washington. Wow. Okay. That's right. I agree. You know, George Washington, he wasn't as good as Joe Biden. Shit. You know, George Washington had a vision when he was in the woods praying outside of Gettysburg. Not Gettysburg, I'm sorry. I forget where it was at. But he had a vision of an angel, and the angel showed him what America would be like in, you know, probably our time, you know, big cities. And, you know, but it really shocked Washington to the core. He was a very humble and religious, devout man who trusted God. Anyway, I think Washington's a great American. We got some great Americans, but where are they? They're all hiding. You know, I just can't understand all this crap that's going on with these politicians. It's the most corrupt era of American politics ever. And these people are bad, and they hate America. They don't care about the American people. They care only for themselves and enriching themselves. You know, if Trump really wanted to stick it to the deep state on his first day in office, he would pardon Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and Kim.com. These people were internet pioneers, and they were smarter than the average cat. And sure, what they did, you might not agree with it, but Assange, he was a journalist, and all he did was release the data that he acquired. And then you know, I have a little sympathy for Ed Snowden, only because he made the world aware of all the spy software that the intelligence agencies have. Now, when Obama and Hillary were, you know, they hated Trump, And Trump was a beloved figure in New York City for years, and plus, he did The Apprentice, and people loved him on that show. And they got what are called the Five Eyes. These are the other countries that have all this high-tech surveillance equipment. Was it New Zealand, Australia, England, and I can't remember what the other ones are right off the bat. But they did domestic spying on the behalf of the administration. See, it wasn't legal for our intel agencies to do the spying and surveillance, so they outsourced it to the Five Eyes. And the Five Eyes dutifully just reported back and gave them all the data they could require. And this is such an abomination of the rights under the Bill of Rights, and they get away with it because they think they're smarter than the average elf, and they can play games like this, and but Snowden exposed all that, and I'm very grateful to him for doing that. I think he's a great American. I don't think he's a traitor to the country. He did a service for America and the world. We would have had no concept on how advanced the surveillance state here in America is. And then Kim.com, the internet outlaw, a good German boy. He's living in New Zealand right now. He has a happy wife and a happy family. And he has the means to live down there. He's lost all his appeals in the New Zealand courts, under pressure, of course, from the United States. But he could be extradited, I don't know when, anytime soon. I'm not sure what the deal is exactly. Somehow he's managing to stay in New Zealand. Now, if I were New Zealand, I'd keep the guy at home and protect him because, he's done so much for the economy down there. He's loaded. And he just wants to be married and raise a family. And, he's got business ventures, and he's a smart guy. He believes in Bitcoin. He's a very strong proponent of Bitcoin. So who knows what's going to happen? This whole deal with the government, the Fed, and the Treasury, making us a cashless society and having digital currency is so wrong. I don't want some bureaucrat tracking my spending habits. It's none of their freaking business. Now, trying to think of the guy who does the special investigations. Anyway, he talked to an IRS agent. He's got him on tape saying, the IRS agent's bragging to him how the IRS is using artificial intelligence to peruse people's bank accounts. I'm sorry, and the guy said to him, "Don't you think there's a violation of rights?" He goes, "Who cares? They just want to get the data. They just want to get the information." He said since they started using the artificial intelligence, they've recovered over $600 billion, almost $1 trillion. And so it's doing the job that it was designed to do. But it's a warrantless search. They're just going fishing. So that's interesting. The Kentucky Derby is not too far away. One of my favorite weekends. First weekend in May, first Saturday in May. And they have a really talented field of horses going through the Kentucky Derby prep races right now. I won't confuse you by going through them all, but they have some real talent. Steve Asmussen's never won a Derby. He's been in like 22 or something like that. And he's one of the top trainers in the country. And he just hasn't put it together yet. I think he will. If he can get Florent Geroux, the French now American jockey, to ride his mounts, I think Florent would give his horse the ride of his life. So anyway, I'm kind of rooting for Steve Asmussen to win the Derby, and like to see Florent Geroux riding with Asmussen. The trainer out of California, Bob Baffert, the Mr. Silver Hair Golden Boy of horse racing, he's still banned from Churchill Downs. This is his third year of the ban. They don't want him there because he drugs his horses. All the trainers do. They're always looking for something. And they're scouring the internet for the next thing they can dope their horses with. to make them run faster. I was up at Monticello Raceway in New York State watching the harness races, and there was a horse named Mountain Creed. I ran into the trainer at the window. He goes, "Yeah, you got to bet Mountain Creed. I know he's going off at 28-1, but put a C note on him." He convinced me, so I put $100 on him. And sure enough, this horse shot to the lead, didn't look back, won the race, going across the finish line 5 lengths ahead of the next closest horse. Well, as they trotted him down to the paddock, the horse keeled over and died. Freaking thing had a heart attack. That trainer had him so drugged up, he didn't know which way was up. He probably thought he was in outer space with the aliens. But I cashed my ticket. $2,950. That was a good day. But, it's insidious. All the gambling going on across America right now. The casino workers in New York are protesting online gambling. They don't want it to happen because it's going to dilute the pool for their casinos. Excuse me. And, I can see their point, but it's going to be an eventuality. I mean, you can go gamble at offshore sites. Most of the states have online gambling now. And I tell you, it's insidious. It really is. I mean, you get carried away with that shit, and you're going to be eating a Wish sandwich. You got 2 slices of bread with no meat, and you're going to be drinking water instead of milk. I mean, it's a horrible existence once you get caught up as a gambling cycle. As people get their paycheck and then they blow it all and scratch off lottery tickets. I call those scratch off tickets instant rip-offs. It's just like you have such a low probability of winning a significant prize that, I just avoid them. I think the biggest instant win I ever had was $60. Whoop-de-doo, And so I avoid those. But some people, they love playing those because they're so much fun. Yes, so much fun. Anyway, I tell you, up here on the Great Lakes, it's been a mild winter. We didn't see too much snow so far this year. We're heading towards the end of February. And come around March 10th is when the weather really starts to change. It warms up a little bit, more sunny days. Now, they're having an eclipse that's going to go right over Erie on April 8th. But they went back and looked at the meteorological history books, and it's always been freaking cloudy here. It's so gray and overcast so much of the year here. The summer is beautiful up here, honest to God, but, fall through spring, it's pretty overcast. And I hate to see all these people come up here to Erie and then get disappointed because of massive cloud cover. We'll see, they're going to have to play it by ear as April 8th draws closer. So I saw an eclipse a few years back. I forget what it was, 2016 or 2017. And it was a partial, but it was still interesting to look at. One of the people I was out on the deck with lent me their little eclipse sunglasses. And it's a very interesting phenomenon. If you ever watch Mr. BBB333 on YouTube, he covers a lot of anomalous sightings, and people send him video from all over the country. And he's a pretty interesting channel. Now, listen, the big channel I've been watching a lot is Doug in Exile, the home of the Happy Patriots. This guy's hilarious. He's a professional cartoonist, made his money, made his bank. And he's a big pro-Trump guy, and he just hates his corruption too. But he's been ripping on Fannie Willis pretty good the last week or so. But I watched Fannie's testimony. She's a jerk, I'm telling you. No straight answers. Says she paid everything off in cash. I don't use bank accounts. I don't use checks. I just paid them in cash. Show any withdrawals from her bank account. I don't know. Now, words come out that she absconded with some of her campaign money. So they'll look into that. But like I say, they're going to have a ethics board hearing coming up soon, and I God hope that the Trumpmeister goes down and blasts her good. She'll be shivering her timbers. Oh my God! She even wore a dress backwards during one day of testimony. I thought it was hilarious. You could see the zipper coming up the side and the front of her dress. She must have been discombobulated. But you watch her body language, her attitude, and her facial expressions, and she's just. Oh, I just say she's a bad person. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope she gets nailed. Well, listen, little babies, I don't know what else to tell you right now. I know I haven't posted in a while, but I've been busy. I've been sick, really, and I'm gonna try to just start getting out, get some fresh air, and do some walking, and try to regain my health back. I'm in pretty bad shape right now. I hate to say it, but I'm an old man. I'll be 67 in March. So I mean, if you're a hot widow with some money, you can always look me up, contact me through the channel, and I'm a nice guy. I'm a good companion. I am very funny, and I tell funny jokes too, but they're all politically incorrect. So you probably don't want to hang out with me because I'm mean and I'm tough on some things. Anyway, well, listen, little babies, I love you because you love me. Now, listen, I'm going to send you a prescription here for some pinky hugs, some hug-a-lugs, and smoochy woochies. I'll send you a monthly prescription with 12 refills. How's that sound? You can use them however you want. Just make your life happier, and be sure to be nice to people. That's all we can do. We don't know what people are going through, and there's a lot of pressure on a lot of people right now, and we don't want to see them brought down. It's easy to take somebody down, but it's hard to uplift them. All right, my friends, we'll talk later. Far out, baby. Hey, all you hippies out there, smoke some weed for me, okay? All right, hippies, bye-bye.